There's nothing wrong with having or not having politics in media, which is obvious, but with how strawman-like arguments on the internet get, I feel like it's important to say that. But there is a right and wrong way to insert politics into media. But since I'm not an expert on storytelling, don't take this as a fact, but rather an observation I made. In the story, we do not want to be pulled out of the story, and putting in real-world politics is a quick way to pull someone out of the story and into reality. It's important to keep the politics in the world and not having it be too on the nose, as could easily clue the viewer onto what political idea is being expressed, and seeing it as pushing an agenda rather than telling a story. I really don't feel like putting in the effort to go through a lot of ham-fisted political messaging because it's usually shit, but I'm sure you can think of some of your own. The best way to put political messages in media is to put them in as elements of the story or the setting. Subtlety is a much more powerful way of spreading ideas, but can allow the reader to walk away with their own interpretation of the media that could be even opposite to what was intended, which is why those pushing an agenda will just kind of spell it out instead of using subtlety and actually building an argument. Rapture can be read as the outcome of extreme laissez-faire capitalism, where regulations should be put in place to prevent immoral practices, or see the initial success of Rapture ruined by criminalizing imports from the surface, and how that one law spiraled into a much more controlling government entity, leading to the collapse of Rapture, with Ryan becoming one of the parasites he warned.
The previous session that you just listened to was an outtake from my BioShock video that I felt was a little too off topic, so I decided to cut it out from the video. But I still wanted to share my thoughts on this because it is kind of a thing that's been, well, I won't say it's very prevalent nowadays, but there was a discourse about politics in media and how everything is political and shit and just complete garbage, alright? There's nothing political about me blowing up fucking demons in Doom, and there's nothing political about me making a fucking dirt castle in Minecraft, alright? There's nothing political about those things. People who have a political agenda and nothing but a political agenda want to make everything political. Not people who actually care about media. And I reiterate, that does not mean that politics is completely separate from media. There is 100% place for politics in media. A lot of the time people say don't insert politics into my media. What they're saying when they're reasonably talking is they're saying don't put real world politics into media. When you insert real world politics, it takes away from the story instead of adding to it. You need to argue your point in the form of the story. That's why we have stories, to make points. So having political ideas in media is not a foreign concept. Media can just be another way of illustrating a political message in a way someone else can understand. It doesn't mean they're going to agree with it, and even if you do it well, there are going to be people who are upset that you decided to make that point. And there's a difference between a political message that people can't get behind but showing a very good story. I can't think of any examples, but they exist, I'm sure. Like, if a really good story made communism out to be good, it'd be a good story, but I mean, communism's never gonna be good. Is that a political stance that people are gonna give this shit for if they ever find this channel? Well, only time will tell. But I know this conversation's digging up old wounds, but like, I haven't heard this conversation for like okay, that's a lie. I saw like a meme last week about this kind of conversation. But when I was making this video and writing this, it was kind of like years since I've heard it, but it's just a thought that I've had for a while, and I felt like getting it out there. I mean, I could have just scrapped this whole section from my BioShock video and never touched it, but I felt the need to make this separate. Right now on screen, you're watching Frostpunk gameplay, because that's what I recorded, and I didn't feel like making an entire video at this. I just kind of wanted this out there and move on, because I had to make other projects in between my videos. These videos are just one of my creative outlets, not my main one. And I feel like these thoughts would just kind of keep bubbling in my head if I didn't get them out in public at some point. So it's just a way to get them out there and out of my mind. Alright. So anyways, Frostpunk. Frostpunk, I think, is a very good way of showcasing this message, as the political message is told through your own actions in the game. It shows how governments can use abusive power to cover up poor leadership and planning and resource management. For example, for either path, faith or order, you can use increasingly immoral actions to keep people's hope up and keep their discontent down. I think even managing to get rid of, I forget which one, hope or discontent entirely if you get like the last upgrade, by making yourself like kind of like king or whatever, you know, the equivalent of each one. And it kind of shows how either faith or order can be corrupted in a way that allows someone to take power, being kind of critical of for religion and the government. Of course, I don't think they're saying that they're inherently wrong, because even then there is a line that the game says you have to cross, right? I mean, you can still use propaganda and public penance and still get that we did not cross the line. So I do think that they're not saying that there's something inherently wrong with these two things, but there is a line that is crossed that makes them immoral. And I feel like that's very good way messaging it. I think it gets the point across. It doesn't shove something down your throat. It's something that you inherently learn while playing the game, even if I think it's fucking bullshit. What would you expect? You told me to sign the fucking public penance law. You told me to write propaganda. I'm sorry, it's too cold in your house. Well, maybe if you fucking worked that extended shift like I told you to, we'd have more coal. Alright, that's it for me. Bye.